Analisa sits here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the September 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Virgo for sun and rising placements. Virgo, happy birthday. It's your season starting the month out, and we've got some fun energy for you this month, just in terms of your personal life and relationships. So we'll just kind of jump right in here. The area of the horoscope that Virgo hits for a Virgo is the first house, because we calculate the horoscopes based off the rising sign. And so the sun has been passing through your first house, which represents the identity, our relationship to identity and our sense of self. So big highlights around you, who you are, what your personal autonomy is, how you view yourself, the way you spend time with yourself, also the first impressions that you make. It's a positive time to just focus on you and pouring into your own cup. We started out September with a few things, so we'll talk about them and then kind of get into the rest of the month. It's already the 7th today, but and happy birthday to my mom, because she's a Virgo and her birthday's tomorrow, the 8th. But I just kind of want to get into where we started the week out. So on the 1st, we had Mercury at 22 degrees of Leo direct now, after we had a pretty intense retrograde. And that area of the chart that it was hitting for Virgo, that retrograde period, was the area that had to do with the subconscious. And so we're finishing up that last little bit in the first week of September. And so we're going to have Mercury still passing through the 12th house. When Mercury's here, this is an opportunity for us to pull things up that has maybe been buried and really focus on examining and working through them. And Leo has to do with confidence, self-expression, how we're communicating who we are with other people, but also the perspective of how we're viewing ourselves, especially with all the first house themes that are happening. This is also the area of the chart that has to do with our connection to the spiritual realm. So it can be a really positive time for meditation and reconnecting to who you are on a deeper level. We have Venus in Libra for most of September. We start out the month with Venus at the early degrees of Libra, and the area that this is hitting for you is your money house. Venus passing through the second house is really auspicious. This brings a lot of good fortune to you financially. This is a really positive time for generating more income, but also doing things with the income that you already have or the money that you already have. It's also a really positive time for working on any issues around self-worth and things that have to do with like material stability, but also what you feel like you're worthy of manifesting into your life when it comes to that. So those are big themes for you for September. We also start out with Mars at 27 degrees of Gemini. We're only going to have Mars. Mars has already moved into Cancer, but at the beginning of the month, Mars was finishing up its stint in Gemini. And the area of the chart that was hitting for you was your work. And so if things have been kind of challenging or turbulent at work, you're shifting out of that energy and more into collaboration energy. Mars is moving into your 11th house when it enters Cancer, which happened on the 4th. And with Mars in Cancer, it's a little bit more driven when it comes to how you're connecting with your community versus just your career, your work life. And so Mars is entering the 11th house, the house where we have our groups, our social life, our friendship circles. And Mars here can bring tension and turbulence, but it is a more positive energy in terms of being more action oriented in terms of how you serve your community. Jupiter is still in your 10th house, which is really great for growing and expanding when it comes to your career. Saturn is still retrograde in Pisces. Uranus stations retrograde on the 1st in the fixed earth sign of Taurus. Where Uranus has been transiting for the last few years for the Virgo horoscope is the house that has to do with your values and belief systems. And so with Uranus stationing retrograde here for the next few months, you might be in a period where you're experiencing more changes around your values and beliefs, maybe growing or evolving in some way than you previously had. Uranus also in Taurus is making a trine to your Virgo energy. And so this also kind of helps you be open to changes within the self. You know, there's more change happening in terms of your identity. Neptune is still retrograde in Pisces. And then we have Pluto retrograde. And on the 1st, it's going to enter Capricorn and enter that 29th degree point in Capricorn again. The last time Pluto was at 29 degrees of Capricorn was when it was direct motion, December 20th through January 20th. The area that that's hitting in your chart is the 5th house, which is the house that represents your creative expression. So that's a big theme for you right now with the retrograde, is kind of examining how what your relationship is to who you are and how you express yourself. Let's see, what else do we have here? I don't have my phone on silent and I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The volume's down really low. Okay, so let's get into the month. So on the 2nd, we had a new moon at 11 degrees of Virgo in your sign. So this is a really positive time since it's hitting in the 1st house for you to set intentions around manifestation when it comes to your identity. So if there's things about yourself that you've been working on or trying to evolve or grow in, this new moon was a really good time to set intentions towards what it was that you wanted to cultivate or manifest in your life on an individual level for yourself. After the new moon, the next big shift of energy we had was Mars entering Cancer. Mars is going to be in Cancer for the rest of September and also through October. And so again, that 11th house is highlighted for you, which is your community house. It's the house where you're tied to groups of people, friendship circles, and Mars is the action planet. So wherever Mars is, we're experiencing a lot of action, but it's also considered a malefic. And so wherever Mars is, we're also experiencing some turbulence, conflict, or challenges. So we might experience conflict or challenge with a group of people, or we might experience, you know, some kind of problem solving that we have to do, all of that. I go deeper into Mars and Cancer on a whole in the astrology forecast, the September astrology forecast that's at the beginning of this video. So if you want a bigger breakdown on some of those energy frequencies, you can watch that video. That's at the top of the playlist. Shortly after Mars enters Cancer, a few days later, around the 8th, the 9th, we're going to have Mercury entering your sign of Virgo. And Mercury is your ruler. So Mercury in Virgo is really positive for you. And the last time Mercury was in Virgo was at the end of July, around the 26th. And Mercury was in Virgo until the beginning of August, and then it stationed retrograde and went back into Leo. So if you think about what was going on for you at the end of July, you're revisiting some of those themes now around the 9th of September and over the next few days. And, you know, this is hitting the 1st house. So this is also a really good time to reflect on who you are, how you communicate, you know, what your perspective or perception of self is. And, you know, how can you live authentically in alignment to yourself, who you are, not in the world, but just on a personal level. After that, the next big transit that we have for the horoscope is going to be the lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Pisces. And so this will be the full moon of the month, but it's a lunar eclipse, which means it's a really intense energy, and we're entering eclipse season. We're entering that energetic portal. And a full moon lunar eclipse has a lot to do with clearing out and releasing energy. And where it's hitting in the Virgo horoscope is the 7th house. So we have the relationship between the 1st house and the 7th house with the sun and moon in opposition to each other. And so some big energy shift is happening around not just your own identity, but how you relate to other people. There might be relationship dynamics that are just ready to be cleared out, ready to be dissolved. It's time to move on. It's time to let go. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going through a breakup, but it just means that the way you've been relating to yourself and how you're relating to other people is going to be changing drastically in some way over the next 6 months. So that's a big theme there. And you've already kind of been in that flow with some of the mercurial energy that's been happening over the last couple of months. You've already been set up to start reflecting and examining that. And then when this eclipse energy happens, it's really going to be pushing you into what that looks like. There's no point in trying to control it, Virgo. I know that you like to get in front of things. It's just going to be what it's going to be. The next thing after the eclipse is we're going to enter Libra season. So the sun is going to move out of your sign. Goodbye. Happy birthday, Virgo, but goodbye. And then we're going to enter Libra. Happy birthday, Libra, on the 22nd. And this is going to be where the sun is moving into your 2nd house and highlighting money. So it's going to bring a lot of energy to your financial area of your life. This could be a positive time for manifesting more money or working on organizing the money that you already have. Also working on issues of self-worth and finding more confidence around your self-worth. The other thing that's happening on this same day is that Venus is moving into the fixed water sign of Scorpio and entering your house of communication. So again, this is where your relationships kind of start to take a front seat in how you communicate. Venus is in its fall in Scorpio, and it's more sensitive and reactive. And we also have Mars in Cancer. So there's a lot more potential for you to have some conflict in relationship dynamics around how you communicate. But the conflict is helping you learn how to really work on deeper issues and work on processing your emotions in your relationship dynamics more effectively. And that's going to be something that you're going through over the next month. So those are kind of things to watch out for. And then a few days later, after Venus enters Scorpio, we're going to have Mercury leaving your sign of Libra and joining the Libra party with the sun. And this is happening on the 25th of September. So Mercury will enter Libra and join that financial house. Again, Mercury here with the sun here, it's a really good time to work on money management. Any kind of money focus or material stability focus things is really constructive. Also, any issues around self-worth, those things are positive for you to focus on as well. All right, Virgo, I'm going to leave you there. I hope that you have a great entry into fall and that all of you that are celebrating birthdays have great birthdays. Again, if you want a bigger breakdown on the transits of the month, you can watch that September astrology forecast that I do at the top of this playlist. If you like this, please hit the like, subscribe button. I post these every month. You can find me at the Sober Curator and the ladyofleosure.com. If you would like to book a reading, my email is in the description box. All right, you guys, good luck. Thank you.